you? I am Jamie, and this is, of course, Relax Radio. This is the chat wrap on Relax Radio. Hope you are having yourself an amazing day so far. Very good morning to you. If you were just waking up, very good morning to you. Hope you are, excited for the day. Hope you have a lot coming up today, and hope you are as productive as possible today. Now, with that being said, I feel like today, the next couple of minutes, actually, I do want to talk about something that is quite interesting, and that is how we can be better people. Now, I feel like on a day to day basis, becoming a better person is something that most of us want to do. All of us want to be better, all of us want to do good in life. But the question is, how? How do you become a better person? How do you make sure that your life is a little bit better than it was yesterday? How do you do this? Because I feel like at the end of the day, it's so much easier said than done. So, what I'm going to do within the next couple minutes is give you a few pointers, give you a little tips on what you can do in order to become a better person. Now, I'll be sharing with you a lot of life hacks like this, a lot of tips and tricks that you need to do to better your life standards on a day to day basis. So, make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Now, apart from that, actually, there is so much happening in the UK and around the world that I want to talk to you about. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Now, I do want to talk about the Billboard Awards that happened. I want to talk about, touch into this whole idea of processed foods as well. So I'll be sharing with you whether or not processed foods are good for us. Then I do want to talk about a few different concepts like about COVID-19, how that has impacted climate change. And these are just a few of the things that I'll be talking to you about today. So, a lot of interesting things coming up. So, make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. With that being said, before we get into the actual conversation, I want to remind you to download our app, okay? It's available absolutely free of charge on iOS and Android. So, make sure that you download our app so that you can take us with you wherever that you go. Now, with that being said, before we get into the actual conversation, I want to remind you something. This is Relax Radio, where we are interactive radio. We absolutely value what you have to say. So, now, this specific topic that I am going to talk about, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your perspectives, your thoughts, and if you think this will actually work in your life. So, go ahead, please don't be shy. Go ahead, share your thoughts and opinions by commenting down below if you are listening to us on any of our lives, on any of our social media. Then I will directly reply to you and we can have a very good conversation. And if you want your voice to be heard amongst all of our Relax fans that is listening to us on a plethora of platforms, if you want your voice to be heard, all you gotta do is comment down below. Now, with that being said, let's get into the topic for today, which is how to become a better person. Now, like you see down below, I have told you that life is basically a journey, right? Now, this is a very cliched sentence, I feel like, that a lot of us hear at different points of our life. Life is definitely a journey, and becoming better is kind of the goal on a day-to-day basis. Becoming better is kind of the goal, right? And what I do want to share with you is ways that you can achieve this goal, ways that you can be a better human being, ways that you can be better so that you can lift your standard of life, not just for yourself, but you could also be a better person for those around you. Okay, see, one thing that I believe is that you need to make the most of yourself. You need to make the most of yourself, because I believe that at the end of the day, that is all there is of you. And this world deserves to see you. This world deserves to see the best aspects of you, which is why I want to try to help you to bring out some qualities or to exaggerate some of those better qualities in yourself. Now, with that being said, I am not perfect. I'm going to tell you that we've all made mistakes throughout our lives. We haven't had, some of us have done things that we regret, but I don't know, I feel like that's a part of being human being. There is not a single person on earth, no matter how glorified they are, that hasn't done something that they don't regret. Chances are, however, you probably felt a little guilt and you grew because of the situation. See, I'm an average person. I'm an average person that is trying to become better in my work and my home life. And that doesn't mean that I have to be perfect. Now, when I tell you that I want your everyday goal to be better on a day-to-day basis, it doesn't mean that I want you to be I want you to be perfect rather. But it's more of this understanding that you are going to continue to grow as a person. So here are a few ways where you can make the most of yourself. Okay, the first thing that I do want to remind you is to compliment yourself. Every morning, before you go on with your daily routine, take a couple of minutes to give yourself a compliment. Now, whether you compliment your outfit or your haircut or how you recently completed a task using your own personal skills, give yourself a little emotional boost on a day to day basis. And this essentially is going to make you happy. And listen to me, this is probably the most real thing that somebody had told me in my life. When you're happy with yourself, that emotion can truly be so contagious to those around you as well. So it's almost like a mantra. Okay, you need to say aloud to yourself most days to put yourself at this peak performance task that you are amazing. So, one thing that I want you to do, if you want to be better in life, if you want to grow as a person, every single morning, as cliche and as teen girl as this may sound, it is true and it works. I want you to have daily aspirations, compliment yourself on a day to day basis. Because let's be real, we kind of live in a world where we can't really expect people to compliment us anymore. But one thing that you can guarantee to have in life is a compliment from yourself. So every day, include it into your routine. Like you grab a cup of coffee, or like you have a shower in the morning, include it into your daily routine. Compliment yourself. Because I want you to try it for 2 weeks and you see that it's going to make such a huge difference in your life. You are going to be a better person in terms of loving yourself and being happy. So go ahead and try it. Before you become too cynical about the concept, just try it. If it doesn't work out, then fine. But if you do want to be a better person, you got to compliment yourself. Now, the other thing, if you are actually trying to be better, but like me, you don't know how to do it, another thing that is going to help you is to stop making excuses. We're always blaming our spouses, we're always blaming our bosses, we're blaming our clients, and that kind of is fruitless, and it won't get you very far. So instead of pointing fingers and making excuses about I don't know, about why you aren't happy, why you aren't successful, you know, own up your mistakes and learn from them. Because when I started this, I told you not a single human being on this planet is successful, be it successful, rich, or religious or spiritual. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's done things they regret. So one thing that I do want you to do is to stop blaming your circumstances, stop blaming the people around you, and own up and take responsibility for your mistakes and learn from them. So when you do this, you will become a better person, guaranteed. When I personally, I don't know, in my life, when I personally started living up to my mistakes and downfalls, it kind of like your life kind of turns upside down. You become happier, you become healthier, and your relationships, be it with your friends or your spouses or just relationships in general, are going to improve. You are going to be happier than ever. Just okay, one the thing that in order to stop making excuses, starting today, it's early in the morning. Now, starting today, make sure that you consciously make an effort to stop making excuses. Try it out today, and trust me when I say you are going to be happier by the end of today. Now, the other thing, if you want to be a better person, if you truly do want to be a better person, you've got to let go of anger. Now, I know that letting go of anger is a lot easier said than done. I completely understand. But before we go on into the discussion, I want to say a big hello going out to the people listening in. We have Nakul listening in. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. It's such a pleasure having you on board. We have Abdullah listening in. We have Andrew, as always, listening in. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Very good morning to you, Andrew. We have Cameron listening in as well. It's such a pleasure to have you guys on board. Now, like them, if you want to say hi to me or if you want to share your opinions, if these stuff actually have worked in your life, life, go ahead and comment down below, and I will share the comment, and we can have a discussion, a direct discussion, which is absolutely amazing. Now, going back to the topic of discussion, I was reminding you that you need to let go of anger in order to be a better person. Now, letting go of anger is a lot easier said than done. Trust me, I know. While anger is a perfectly normal emotion, the problem is when it festers. Yeah, when this happens, you are going to make unwise decisions, and more importantly, it is going to affect your health. I read so much research that suggested pent up anger can actually cause digestive problems, difficulty in sleeping, and even heart problems. So to let go of your anger, I don't know. One thing that helps me is to write your feelings down. When you do write it down, you kind of transfer all of that negative emotion onto something else. So try to write your feelings down, or better, meditate, because that definitely helps you to level out your anger or to let go of your anger. Beginning to take control of your thoughts, I feel like, is one of the most important things when it comes to managing your anger or letting go of your anger. So make sure that you learn how to manage your thoughts, and how you do that is through meditation. Practice forgiveness. That definitely is going to help you become a better person. Forgive and let go of resentment, if for no other reason than for yourself. A lot of the time we're taught to forgive people for their benefit, but I truly believe that you need to forgive for your own sake, for the health of yourself. So if you take time to meditate and give thanks for everything that you have today. Practice the mantra. Create your own mantra and practice it. Say, I forgive you and I release you. Things like that can really help with you and yourself. Listen to others. Listening to other people can give you, listening to people and giving everyone a voice is one of the greatest things you can do. So, if you want to be a good person, you've got to listen to other people. Be as helpful as possible. I've told you this before, and being kind, growing up, we've always taught be kind for the benefit of others. We've always been told to be kind so that it's going to be better for our society. But I actually have a different theory, right? You need to be kind for your own benefit. You need to be kind for your own well-being, because being kind is actually a two-way emotion. When you help somebody else, when you're kind to somebody else, you're actually being kind to yourself. Therefore, if you want to be good to yourself, if you've got to be kind to yourself, you've got to be kind to other people. And it can mean as simple a thing as maybe smiling at somebody while you're on your way to work, or having a conversation with somebody that feels lonely, or reaching out to somebody to know that the help always exists. Things like that can really help make you a better person. Now, with that being said, we have a lot more interesting things to talk about. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio, because we have a lot of things that are actually coming up. So make sure that you keep it tuned, and make sure that you download our app so that you can take us with you wherever that you go. Welcome back to the show. I am Jamie, and this is, of course, Relax Radio. Hope you are having yourself an amazing day so far. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about, actually. Earlier on, we were talking about how you as an individual can become a better person. And I shared with you a few tips and tricks that you can do on a day to day basis to ensure that you are at least attempting to become a better person than you were yesterday. Now, before we head on into the next sector of a conversation, which I want to talk about the Billboard Awards for a second, because it happened on Tuesday and a lot went down with regards to the Billboard Awards. So if you want to keep yourself updated and informed, all you got to do is make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Now, with that being said, we have a lot of interesting things coming up, and I want to remind you that if you want to keep yourself updated 24/7, 365, all you got to do is go on and check out our social media platforms. That is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We go as Relax Radio and we talk about all things interesting. So if you want to stay updated and if you want to, keep yourself informed, all you got to do is go on right ahead and check us out on our social media platforms. And while you're at it, go ahead and show us some love as well. Now, with that being said, I want to remind you that this is interactive radio, which means we absolutely value what you have to say. We value your opinion. We value your thoughts and your ideas. So if you have something that you want to share with us, if you have something that, a difference of opinion maybe, or if you just have a different idea or a perspective that you want to share, all you got to do is comment down below if you're listening to us on any of our lives. I could say hi to you if you want to say hi to me, or if you just want to add on to whatever we're talking about. All you got to do is comment down below if you're listening to us on any of our social media. But if you are listening to us on our app, you can simply call us on 07852 473 473. I want to say a big hi going out to everybody listening in that have sent me messages so far. We have Nakul listening in. Thank you for being a part of the show, buddy. We got Cameron and Andrew, as always, tuning in as well. Thank you for being a part of the show. Hope you have yourself a good morning. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about the Billboard Awards for a second, because a lot of interesting things happen, and I feel like there was a lot of diversity with regards to the awards that were won, because The Weeknd was actually the top winner at the Billboard Music Awards, which were presented in LA, and it was presented in LA Live Complex in Los Angeles on Sunday. That is the 23rd of May. Yeah, that is the 23rd of May. So yeah, it happened on the 23rd of May, Sunday, and the pop and R&B star won 10 awards. How crazy is that? He himself won 10 awards. That is The Weeknd, ladies and gentlemen, and he more than doubled his career total of BBMAs. And yeah, that's some amazing news. He had won 9 awards prior to this year. With his 19 awards, The Weeknd is now in 5th place on the all-time BBMA, which is Billboard Music Award winner list, and he's behind Drake, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, and Garth Brooks. Now, with that being said, the Weeknd's mega hit Blinding Lights, I don't know about you, but Blinding Lights is, I think, an amazing song. It's a very different vibe. So if you don't really like that vibe, I don't know if you're going to like any of the songs from his album, because his mega hit Blinding Lights is a very different vibe of a song, but it definitely took top hot 100 song spot, and people fell in love with it, and that is why I think it was well deserved that Weeknd became the top winner at Billboard Music Awards. Now, with that being said, it's just the third non-collab single to actually win in this category since the show resumed in 2011. Now, the first two were Tayo Cruz Dynamite. I can't remember. I don't know if you remember the song Dynamite. It was back in 2011, and it was when I was growing up. And that song, oh my goodness, it kind of shaped the millennials' life, and that song is just at a whole different level. And of course, it was Meghan Trainor's All About the Bass. Now, The Weeknd wasn't the only artist that made history on the night. We have a lot of artists that actually did pretty amazing at the BBMA. Pop Smoke won 5 awards, including Top Billboard 200 album for Shoot for the Stars and Aim for the Moon. Now, this is the fourth time in the past 5 years that hip hop album has won that award. So that just goes to show that hip hop is coming back, and the younger generations especially are loving hip hop as it is. Now, with that being said, the sole exception was Billie Eilish. So Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go last year. Now, Pop Smoke, who died in February, I think, 2020, which is very sad. He also posthumously won Top New Artist. Now, he's the first artist to win that award posthumously, but I am so glad that they're actually acknowledging the people, despite the fact that they're not here with us anymore, they're acknowledging the artists that deserve to be acknowledged for their, music that they've produced. Now, with that being said, something that I was very surprised by is BTS. So, BTS, if you don't know who they are huge. BTS, I don't know, they went from nobody knowing them a few years back to being a global sensation. They are a K-pop group. They're from Korea, South Korea, and all their songs are Korean. But let me tell you that people are absolutely loving K-pop, especially BTS. Which I think is, oh my goodness, crazy, which I think is amazing as well. It's a lot of diversity, and it just goes to show that people are almost craving for a little diversity in their music. If you're somebody like that, because I definitely know that sometimes I kind of get sick of listening to the same song, same kind of songs with kind of the same lyrics and the same meaning. So it's really nice to have a breath of fresh air. BTS was just like a breath of fresh air. Them with Blackpink, I think, is the other very famous K-pop group. So yeah, BTS made history because they won 4 awards, bringing the BBMA total to date to an impressive 9. Now they won Top Duo Group for a second time in 3 years. That just goes to show how crazy big BTS was, and it's definitely not a phase, because even in the Western world, especially in Europe, BTS is huge, especially with the younger generations. I've seen little girls and boys obsessing over BTS, and I guess it's just like that diversity that especially us as Europeans are craving. But yeah, BTS also took top social artist for the 5th consecutive year, and the group is just 1 year behind Bieber's 6-year hold on the award from 2011 to 2016. Now, the other person that did win big was Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny won 4 awards, including Top Latin Artist, for a second year in a row. Now, he's the 4th artist to win back-to-back awards in that category since the BBMAs resumed in 2011. The first 3 were actually won by the legend herself, Shakira, and Ozuna as well. Bad Bunny swept the Artist Album and Song Awards in Latin. Now, that was the only genre that was outside R&B where one artist swept all 3 of those awards, which is amazing for Bad Bunny. Again, I think one of the best Latin artists to be out there, and I'm glad that they're being acknowledged for their music. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh, also, one thing that I did forget to tell you was about Drake. Drake won 2 awards, and he brought his son to the Billboard Awards. I don't know if you saw it as of yet, but his son Adonis is absolutely adorable. And yeah, Drake brought his son as his +1, and his parents also. And Drake ended up winning 2 awards: Top Streaming Artist and a special award for Artist of the Decade. Now, Taylor Swift, of course, won 2 awards as well. She was a top female artist and top Billboard 200 artist, each for the 4th time in a row. I mean, if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, you know that she's been producing great music since the beginning of time. It feels like it. She just evolved, I feel, and her genre of music in itself went from country, a very country-esque style, to a very pop, and now back to almost a country R&B mix. So yeah, she is somebody that's exploring and evolving her style of music as well. And we as fans of Taylor Swift were absolutely loving her transformation. Now, that is basically what went down with at the Billboard Music Awards. Lady Gaga also did win 2 awards. She won Top Dance and Electronic electronic artist and top dance electronic album, each for the first time in 9 years. So that's a big win for Lady Gaga. And yeah, Kanye West won 2 awards. Carrie Underwood won some awards as well. So all amazing stuff. Machine Gun Kelly again did win some awards as well. Now, with that being said, that was just a little update. If you missed the Billboard Music Awards yesterday, we spoke of Eurovision, but today I thought I just needed to update you with what's trending with regards to the Billboard Music Awards, and I hope you enjoyed that. We have a lot more interesting conversation to come up. Actually, I do want to talk about processed foods for a bit, and I do want to talk about our future with COVID-19 and all of that, climate emissions, and a lot of interesting conversation coming up. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Welcome back to the show. Very good morning to you. Hope you were having yourself an amazing, amazing day so far. If you're just waking up, good morning out to you. If you're just getting ready to get your day started, then make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio because we are going to be talking about a lot of different things, giving you motivation that you need to get started with your day. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. And I want to remind you to show us some love on our social media platforms. That is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We go as Relax Radio and we share with you some very interesting content all day, every day. So make sure that you keep yourself updated and informed by listening to us, by showing us some love on our social media platforms. We go as Relax Radio, and we are spelled without the X, Relax, because we are all about that positivity. We're all about making sure that you are happy, that you are excited, and that you are positive all throughout the day. So if you want to, add a little bit of positivity on a day-to-day basis to your life, which is always a good thing, if you want to do that, all you got to do is make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Now, with that being said, like I always remind you, we are interactive radio, which means we absolutely value what you have to say. We appreciate your thoughts, your ideas, and your comments. So please go ahead and drop in your ideas, your thoughts, and your perspectives. Do you agree with me? Do you not? It absolutely doesn't matter. Whatever you have to say, I would love to hear from you. So go on right ahead. Call me up on 078 I'll repeat that. That is 078 Or if you're listening to us on any of our lives, it's super simple. All you got to do is comment down below. We have a bunch of people saying hello to us. Let's see, right now, a few people that is talking to us is now cool. Thank you for being a part of the show. We have another person that says, hey, Relax TV. Thank you for being a part of the show. It's such a pleasure to have you on board. Now, with that being said, again, I want to remind you to download our app because it's available absolutely free of charge on iOS and Android. So make sure that you download our app so that you can take us with you wherever that you go. It's available absolutely free of charge on iOS and Android. So make sure that you download our app so that it's super accessible and easy for you to tune in and listen to us. Now, with that being said, let's get on into the topic of discussion, which is about COVID-19. Now, COVID-19, especially when we went to lockdown, especially on social media, one thing that was discussed quite often is how the world is becoming a better place because there's very little human interaction. We're barely on the streets. We're confined to the borders of our houses, and that means that the environment is healing. Now, that post actually did go viral on all social media, but COVID-19 definitely did pause climate emissions and certain harms to the environment, but it sure is rising again. Now, that's what I want to talk to you about. And I know that this may seem quite not as interesting at the get go, and I completely understand that. But I feel like the reason I wanted to talk to you about this is because this is absolutely vital information. These are essential pieces of knowledge that you need to know because you are a person that's living in this planet and you need to know what's going on in this planet, which is why I thought I will keep you updated with what is happening with regards to climate emissions post COVID-19, post pandemic. Now, the world's sudden launch into lockdown a year ago had an interesting effect on carbon emissions because now they're returning back to normal far quicker than society is. Now, the planet has already warmed around 1.2 Celsius since pre-industrial times when the World Health Organization officially declared a pandemic on the 11th of March 2020. So this began a sudden and unprecedented drop in human activity as much as in the world, and a lot of the world went down into lockdown. A lot of the world actually did go into lockdown in about March last year, and that meant that factories stopped operating, grounded. Now, there have been many monumental changes since then, but for those of us who work as climate people that are interested in the climate. This period has brought some entirely new and sometimes unexpected insights. So, I actually came across a very interesting article that has been released by a few climate scientists, and these are the three things, according to them, that we as humanity have learned within that period. So, according to them, climate science can actually operate in a real time. See, the pandemic makes us think on our feet about how to get around some of the difficulties of monitoring greenhouse gas emissions and carbon dioxide in particular in real time. So, when many lockdowns were beginning in March in 2020, the next comprehensive global carbon budget setting out the year's emissions trends were not apparently due until the end of the year. So, a lot of climate scientists apparently set about looking for other data that might indicate how, the emissions or climate harming was actually changing. Now, scientists actually used information on lockdown as a mirror for global emissions, and in other words, they knew what the emissions were from and from what economic sectors or countries pre-pandemic, and they knew that how much the activity had fallen, and it was kind of a comparing and a contrasting post-pandemic or post. Or during lockdown actually and pre-lockdown. Now, yeah, and apparently there has been no dramatic effect on climate change in both the long term and short term. The pandemic apparently had a less effect on efforts to tackle climate change than many people had hoped, which is not what I was hoping to hear, but it's the truth. Because despite the clear and quiet skies, research apparently found that lockdown has actually had a slight warming effect in spring 2020 as industry ground to a halt, air pollution dropped, and so did the ability of aerosols, tiny particles that are produced by burning of fossil fuels, to cool the planet by reflecting sunlight away from the earth, which is absolutely interesting because I actually thought that the pandemic would have such a positive effect on climate change and that we would actually heal the planet in terms of climate change and global warming. But according to climate scientists and according to professionals out there, that is not the case, which is absolutely mind blowing. Now, the impact on global temperature was short lived and very small, apparently, but it was still bigger than anything caused by lockdown related changes in the ozone. So, yeah, that's some pretty interesting news that I wouldn't have thought of. But, like what I always say, it's super important that you play your part, no matter how small you think your contribution is. At the end of the day, it is some sort of contribution, and it's important that you do it. Okay, it's important that you take it up onto yourself as a responsible global citizen to do your little thing, to play the part in order to ensure that this world remains the same and remains intact for the future generations. And what essentially does that mean? I think that means little things that might seem really trivial but can go a long way. Make sure that you save water, and that means turning off the shower when it's not necessary, turning off the faucet when you're not using it. Things like this can also make your household more cost effective, but it can have such a positive impact on a much wider scale. So make sure that you do whatever it takes to be as energy efficient as possible in your households. Teach your children how to be a little bit more respectful of the environment, and that means cutting down on plastic as much as possible. you know uh, I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of grocery stores, a lot of shops, a lot of products that we buy have a plastic free option. And I feel like if it's possible, if it's economically, financially possible for you as a person, please do opt for plastic free options and, cruelty free options, because that's always better for the planet. And this planet is all that we've got. If we lose this, we actually do not have another place to live. So make sure that we leave the planet as we found it, because definitely the future generations deserve to see these trees, to enjoy earth as we have been enjoying so far. So be responsible, do little things, because little things go a long way. But most importantly, teach your children, teach the next generations, teach the older generations that maybe not be as woke as we are. Teach them the importance of saving the planet, of playing their little part, no matter how trivial may seem, even the most littlest of contribution can definitely go a long way. Now, with that being said, we have a lot more interesting things coming up, so make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. For right now, though, let's take a little break, but make sure that you stay tuned on Relax Radio. back to the show. I am Jamie, and this is, of course, the Chat Trap. Hope you are having yourself an amazing day so far. We have a lot of very interesting things to talk about. So, if you want to just, have some good conversation, if you want to keep yourself occupied, and if you want to keep yourself motivated, inspired, and also informed, all you got to do is make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. I want to give a big shout out to every single person that is listening in on all of our social media platforms, on any of our lives. If you're listening to us on a live that is airing on our social media, all you gotta do is comment down below, because we are an interactive radio. We're all about hearing your thoughts and your opinions. So if you want to share with me what you're thinking right now, how your day is going, or more importantly, if you want to share with me, if you have an opposing view of whatever we're talking about, please feel free to comment down below, and I will definitely get back to you, because we can have a live conversation, which is absolutely amazing. Now, if you're listening to us on our app, or if you're listening to us on air, all you gotta do is call us on 078-52-473-473. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about something very interesting that you might think is not too interesting until you actually hear about it, and that is processed foods, okay? The reason I'm talking to you about this is because a lot of celebrities and a lot of influencers alike have been promoting, the discontinuation of processed foods, because with the claim that it's linked to cancer. Now, that is absolutely true. Ultra processed foods can be linked to cancer, but let me explain myself and let me get to the end of it before formulate your opinion or formulate your idea. Now, first of all, the link between highly processed foods and cancer has been suggested by, I think, firstly, rather, in the early 2000s, it was suggested by certain French researchers, and then it became a very prominent area of study. Now, they classified foods including cakes, chicken nuggets, mass-produced bread as ultra-processed foods. Now, a study of about 105,000 people hinted the more of such foods that people ate, the greater risk that they are at for cancer. A lot of caution is being expressed about the study, but experts say that a healthy diet is best, and a healthy diet essentially means without ultra processed food. Now, that brings me to the next question. What is ultra processed? What are ultra processed foods? What exactly does it mean? Well, essentially, ultra processed foods mean mass produced, packaged breads and buns and sweet and savory packaged snacks. That includes crisps, anything. One thing that I was taught when I was young is anything that you can keep that has a shelf life for over a month or something like that, anything that has an excessive amount of shelf life, anything that you can keep on a shelf for an excessive amount of time is considered to be ultra processed, because food is not supposed to be kept in a tin on a shelf for months on end. But there's so many food that can be done, that can be kept for long periods of time. And the only reason you can do that is because of the fact that they are ultra processed. Now, again, going back to the list of ultra processed food, chocolate bars and sweets, extreme sweets, are said to be ultra processed. Soda, sweet drinks, meatballs, poultry, fish nuggets, or anything that is packaged with regards to it, instant noodles and instant soups, any instant foods. Basically, foods that are mostly made out of sugar, oils, or fats, or frozen or shelf life ready meals. Now, these are what are generally considered as ultra processed foods, and a diet, I don't know, it's already known to affect be one of the major factors that causes cancer. Again, this is not substantiating research, but a lot of people, the general consensus is that ultra processed foods leads to certain health complications. Now, being overweight is the biggest preventable cause of disease after smoking, according to the World Health Organization. And the World Health Organization in itself says that processed meats does slightly increase the risk of cancer. Now, again, there is no substantial research, but what I just told you was something that has been reiterated time and time again by the World Health Organization. So what about ultra processed foods? Now, Okay, so basically, there was a study that was considered, that was done actually, and the results in British Medical Journal showed that if the proportion of ultra processed foods in the diet is increased by 10%, then the number of cancers detected increases by 12%. How crazy is that? This is an article that was actually published in the British Medical Journal not too long ago. And according to that, I will say that again, if you increase the proportion of processed foods in your diet by 10%, then the number of cancers detected increased by 12%. Now, during the study, on average, 18% of the people's diet was ultra processed, and that's basically what they came up with. Now, the researchers concluded that these results suggested that the rapidly increasing consumption of ultra processed foods may actually drive an increasing burden of cancer in the next decades, which is actually really scary considering that cancer does not have a solution. Cancer does not have an anti-vaccine, or cancer does not have a cure. It's not something that is curable, and it's so crazy that with the increasing consumption of ultra processed foods, there is an increasing burden of cancer in the next decades to come. But according to findings, these need to be obviously confirmed by a large scale, but like I always tell you, it's better to be safe than sorry. Now, the study is far from the definitive take on ultra processed foods and cancer. It cannot actually say that ultra processed foods are the cause of cancer. Cancer is, again, such a vast area of study that most of us haven't really understood the full concept of it. But yeah, these foods are these factors are that muddy waters, as people who ate a lot of ultra processed foods had other behaviors that have been linked to cancer as well. So like I always say, it's much better to be safe than sorry. We have been talking about the linkage of ultra processed foods and cancer. And I told you that ultra processed foods include anything that you can keep in a shelf for an extended period of time. And I told you how there were researches that were conducted that actually showed a crazy, that ultra processed foods is actually a crazy risk factor for cancer, and people that have been consuming an excessive amount of processed foods have ended up with some form of cancer, which is actually very scary because cancer, unlike a lot of other diseases, do not have a cure. So it's always better to be safe than sorry. So with regards to ultra processed foods, which is very processed foods where you can keep on a shelf for a really long time, make sure that I'm not saying don't consume them, just make sure that you have a limit to everything. It's always a good policy to live by, to have a limitation for everything in life. And I think it's no different when it comes to processed foods as well. Now, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking about processed foods and how ultra processed foods are actually linked to cancer, and how ultra processed foods can be a cancer causing factor. But with that being said, I want to go into another very interesting topic, because likely a few of our listeners did mention that processed foods are actually better than natural foods. It's so crazy because for the past 5 minutes, I've been telling you how you need to reduce your consumption of processed foods. But now I'm telling you that processed foods can be better than natural foods. Now, listen, this is where there's been a slight debate with regards to the food that we eat. Now, processed food definitely conjures up images of unhealthy meals and snacks that have been mass produced in factories. But apparently, processed foods, human intervention in foods, can actually make a few foods better for our consumption. Now, hear me out. Wait till before you jump into any conclusions. Hear me out for a few seconds, okay? Now, the language used to describe the foods that we eat can have a huge effect on how we perceive them. See, when foods are said to be organic or artisanal, homemade or handpicked, the foods sound slightly more tempting than tinned or rehydrated or freeze dried. And another adjective that can whet our appetite for sure is natural. We tend to associate processed foods with long lists of ingredients that we can pronounce, but when it comes to our health, is natural always better than processed? Now, again, I'm telling you, it's kind of ironic because for the past few minutes, I've been talking to you about how processed foods, ultra processed foods, can be a direct factor that causes cancer. But now I'm telling you that I'm asking you if natural is always better than processed. Now, see, there are certain foods, for example, kidney beans, okay? They contain lectins, which can cause vomiting and diarrhea, and they can only be removed by soaking the beans in water overnight and then cooking them and boiling water. Now, processing also makes cow's milk safe to consume. Milk has been pasteurized since the 1800s, in order to kill harmful bacteria. Now, before this time, it was distributed locally because there wasn't good refrigerators or refrigeration in houses. So, yes, there are certain foods that need to be processed, like milk and kidney beans are just two of the examples that popped off on the top of my head that I could think of on the top of my head. But there are certainly foods that need to be processed, that need to undergo a certain process in order to be safe to eat. But with that being said, I don't want you to get that confused with the fact that ultra processed foods can actually be harmful for you. Foods that contain excessive amounts of sugar and oil and fat, and foods that contain a lot of chemicals that have been put into it to ensure that it lasts for a long time. Those kinds of food definitely could cause cancer in the long run. So make sure that you know the differentiation between the two. Make sure that you are informed of the differentiation. And with that being said, make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio, because that was actually quite an interesting and informative topic. And I want to say thank you to everybody that was tuning in. But with that being said, let's head in on for a little break. But make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Welcome back to the show. I am Jamie, and this is, of course, a chat trap on Relax Radio. Now, we're spelled without the X in Relax because we are all about positivity. We don't want any X's in your life, we don't want any negativity in your life. We're all about being positive, we're all about ensuring that you are as hyped up, that you are as happy as possible. So, make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio all throughout the day, and more importantly, make sure that you stay with us 24/7, 365. Now, to make it easier for you, we have a number that you can call us up if you want to share your story, if you want to let me know how your day is going, or if you just want to say hi to me, you could very simply call me up on 07852 473 473. Now, with that being said, if you want to access us wherever that you go, if you want to, make sure that you have Relax Radio with you because we definitely got your back. And if you want to have us with you wherever that you go, all you got to do is download our app. It's available absolutely free of charge on iOS and Android. So make sure that you download our app so that you can take us with you wherever it is that you go. We talk about a lot of interesting things here at Relax Radio, from politics to inspiration to entertainment news to current affairs, and we bring people in and we just give you interesting conversation because I don't know, I feel like especially in the 21st century, in this age of social media, in this age of just digital world, I feel like a lot of us forget to have good conversation. And when we forget to have good conversation, we kind of miss out on this amazing aspect in life. And that's what we are trying to do. Okay, we're trying to give you that essential aspect of conversation. So if you want to engage in some good conversation, if you want to conversate with me, if you want to go back and forth, share your thoughts and your opinions, you could definitely do that by, if you're listening to us on live, you could just simply comment down below and I will reply to all of your comments in a real time, which is absolutely amazing for you as well. And if you want to get in touch with me, all you got to do is call me up on 07852 473 473. Now, with that being said, I also want to remind you to show us some love, okay? Show us some love on our social media platforms, that is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We go as Relax Radio and we talk about all things interesting. And we post content that is definitely going to spike your interest for sure. And also, you can directly get in touch with us. So don't feel embarrassed to drop us a DM or just have a conversation with us. We always, always love to hear from you. Now, with that being said, a lot of things is happening around the world. But before we get on into that, I want to continue on the first part of my conversation. I started up this segment actually by talking to you about things that you can do in order to better your life. I feel like I told you before, every single one of us wants to become a better person. Every single one of us wants to somehow try to be better on a day-to-day basis. But the problem is that we don't really know how. Everybody says, "Oh, be a better person than you were yesterday," but the question is, how do you do that? Now, that's why I want to chime in a little and share with you, some ideas and thoughts. And first of all, I told you how you need to, a few things that I told you, if you're just tuning in, a few things that I spoke of earlier on is how you need to compliment yourself on a daily basis, how you cannot make excuses, how you need to let go of your anger if you truly want to be happy, if you truly want to be a better person, you need to let go of your anger. I reminded you that you need to practice forgiveness, and I also told you how you need to listen to others. Now, a few other things that I do want to add to that list is how you need to be polite. See, okay, in my opinion, it actually doesn't take so much effort to say thank you or please. These are not hard things to do. These are just two additional words or one additional word that just makes you sound like such a better person. Okay, so it doesn't take too much effort to say thank you or to hold an elevator door open for someone. It doesn't take effort to be polite. Okay, however, these acts of kindness can definitely make someone's day. You're literally just smiling at somebody and acting polite, and that person could possibly have a great day because of that smile or because of that thank you, and that really does go a long way. Okay, so It doesn't matter if somebody is ultra rude to you. We live in a community of people where sometimes it's really, for me as a person, I love to be polite all the time, and sometimes it's really frustrating when people are rude and when you're trying to be nice and they snap back at you, and they have a grumpy face 24/7, 365. It can be really frustrating. But even if it doesn't matter if somebody is ultra rude or condescending or even worse, the way someone else behaves isn't going to determine your behavior. That is one thing that I absolutely want you to remember. Be polite. And I know that it's not easy to be polite, especially like I told you, when people are extremely rude and condescending. But don't let these other people's behavior determine your behavior. You go on ahead and you do the right thing, you be a better person. And I think that essentially makes you the better person. That essentially makes you such an amazing person. And if you can be good to people that are also still like condescending and rude to you, that just shows your value, in my opinion. And that kind of is a reassurance to yourself of how good of a person you can be. So, if you want to be a good person, if you want to be a better person than you were yesterday, and you're struggling to figure out how to do it, the first step to actually be a good person is to become polite. So, today, make a conscious effort to go out there and say thank you, hold an elevator door open, or just listen to somebody that looks like they're going through a hard time. So, be polite, and that will definitely help you become a better person and feel better about yourself as well. Now, the other thing that I do want to talk to you, if you want to be a better person, oh my goodness, I cannot stress this enough. You need to be yourself. Now, I know you've heard this 100 times. I know it's extremely cliche, but it's so important that you be yourself. See, uh, you need to be able to align yourself with your values and your beliefs, and that's going to help you establish your identity, to build your courage, to create boundaries, and to find focus and direction. And if you want to find boundaries with who you're trying to interact with, if you want to be good to yourself, if you want to become a better person, then you've got to be yourself. And I feel like being ourselves and finding the original us, or finding the original me, is especially hard in today's status quo. It's especially hard in today's day and age, because we live um, in a facade. I don't know if you agree with me, because I definitely think that we live around people that kind of build their life, create this image on social media, and people like us, we kind of tend to believe that that's actually what's real. And therefore, we feel this pressure to be somebody that we are not. But I want to remind you that it's super important that you become yourself, that you figure out your values, figure out what you find important, figure out your beliefs on your own, and that is going to help you establish your identity, and that is going to help you become a better person. Be open to change. With that being said, I am not saying that you should never be open to change. You should definitely be open to change, whether it's trying a new restaurant, or traveling to an unknown part of the world, or doing something that has always scared you. You should always be open to change, because that essentially allows you to grow, because you technically experience something new. It helps you to be high functioning and self confidence, and you're not going to be wary of change. Be respectful. How would you feel if you had just cleaned your home and someone came in and tracked mud everywhere? You'd probably be a little ticked that they had to take off their shoes. Take this mentality and apply it to everyday life. For example, don't toss your trash, or your cigarette butts, or your little tidbits of trash on the floor of the public restroom or on the sidewalk, just because someone else will clean it up. That's being disrespectful. Be respectful of other people's time and thoughts and ideas and lifestyles and feelings and work and everything else. You don't have to agree with any of it, but people have a right to their opinion, and yours is not necessarily always correct. Or, see, what I always say with regards to opinions is you can absolutely have your own opinion, but that doesn't essentially negate somebody else's opinion as well. So make sure that you be respectful of others. Everybody is as valuable as you are. Everybody is worthy. Everybody is a human being, and that essentially makes them a worthy human being. So be respectful, educate yourself. If you don't understand how the world works, if you don't understand a certain terminology, if you don't understand politics of why war is happening between two countries, take the time to educate yourself on the current events. Ask a person for their thoughts and their ideas. Remember that we're all interconnected. And I feel like one of the most important things is being aware of different cultures and different people and what their lives are like. And that can essentially help you be a more well rounded individual. This is also going to help you understand points of view different from your own. Okay, so make sure that you do whatever it takes to educate yourself. Knowledge is power, and I don't mean knowledge that just comes from textbooks. Knowledge about other people's cultures, how other people think. All of this is absolutely going to give you power. It's going to help you understand how the world works. So definitely educate yourself. Become a person doesn't happen overnight, okay? But I want to say that it is absolutely possible. So believe in yourself and know that it is possible. And just trust in the process, I guess. And with that being said, I want to make sure that you stay tuned right here on Relax Radio. We have a couple of people tuning in, and I want to say a big thank you going out to every single person that is tuning in. Big love going out to you. Thank you for being a part of the show. It's been such a pleasure having you on board. Now, with that being said, let's head on over to a break, but make sure that you remember that you are absolutely a good person, okay? You are absolutely worthy. You are absolutely a good person. And it just takes some effort to bring that persona out. It takes some effort to become the good person, and just trust in the process and believe in yourself, and you will most definitely get there. I am Jamie, and this is of course the chat wrap. I want to say a big thank you for everybody that is tuning in thus far. It's such a pleasure having you on board. And if you want to say hi to me, if you want to connect with us, we are a fun bunch, the Relax crew. We're always here to talk to you. So if you just want to have some good conversation, all you gotta do is head on over to our social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We go as Relax Radio. You can definitely connect with us. Let us know what's going on. Let us know what you would like to hear us talk about, because we would absolutely love to hear from you. With that being said, let's take a small break, but make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio.